Okay, section 4.4 is using corresponding parts of congruent triangles. So in this section, we are going to look at something a little bit new. Section 4.2 and 4.3, we proved the congruence using side, 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 angle, side, angle, and angle, angle, side. Now, once the congruence of two triangles has been proven, we can now make conclusions about the triangle's other corresponding parts because, by definition, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So that's the definition we're going to be using to do our proof here. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So let's take a look at what this means. Well, come on. Alright, so proving parts of triangles congruent. So in this diagram that we are going to use, oops, it's not really good, but let's see, and we've got B, K, C, A. And we are going to say that the given information is that angle KBC is congruent to angle ACB, and angle K is congruent to angle A, and we want, that's our given, sorry, well, goodness, that's our given, and we want to prove that KB is congruent to AC. So, number one is to list some of my givens. KBC is congruent to angle ACB, and I'm going to write that on my diagram. KBC is congruent to ACB. So that's those two angles. I also know that angle K is congruent to angle A. So that's this one and this one. Okay, and what I want to prove is that side KB, this side, is congruent with this side. Well, that's pretty hard to prove directly, but let's take a look at how we're going to do this. So this is my given, and I want to prove these two triangles congruent before I prove that the sides are congruent. So I've got angle, angle, and if I can prove side, and hopefully you all recognize that BC is congruent to BC, and that's the reflexive property of congruence. And now I can say that triangle KCB is congruent to triangle, I did KCB, so I'm going to do ABC, and that's because of angle, angle, side. Now I can compare any two other parts. I could say that KB is congruent to CA. I could say that AB is congruent to KC. All the other parts of this triangle now have to be congruent. So the one that I want is that KB is congruent to AC, and that is because corresponding parts of congruent triangles are also congruent. So the idea in this section that is instead of using all the information to prove that two triangles are congruent, we're going to first prove that the triangles are congruent and then use that to prove that either another side or another angle are also congruent. And that's all the notes.